Hey everybody, it's Holly Burns of Holly Burns Psychic. Happy New Year! This is my New Year's video. We're going to be summarizing with the elders whom I work with, a group of all-knowing souls. For those of you that don't know me, I am a psychic medium, and so are all of you. And I work with this all-knowing group of souls. I call them the elders. They are the master level souls I believe them to be. The master level, well, they're definitely angelic level beings, but I am 99.9% sure that they are the souls that help us plan our lives and guide us when we're down here in our lives, and they also meet with us in between every life and after our lives. They go through everything with us. They actually go through every single thing that ever happened to you, and they talk to you about it, and they tell you alternate endings. So if you would have made different choices and what would have happened. And they also plan our next life. So we think about what we want for our next life, and they're the ones that design our lives for us. And they give us the choice usually of at least 3 different lives that we can choose when we come down. And they're the ones that get all that together for us, and they're pretty cool, pretty smart. So they want to summarize 2020 and look ahead to 2021. And we're going to go through, see, I summarized what we're going to go through in the video so you can know what to look forward to today. I like that when I'm looking at other people's videos, kind of get an intro. So let's see here, where was that? Just a little bit further down on my scroll here. Why people are leaving the planet in droves, what they said in 2020 that's now come true, their feelings on dying or not dying from COVID, what they want us to know about the vaccine, staying well, the warring that's going on right now amongst us, what to look for upcoming in 2021, their thoughts on the presidential election, the riots at the Capitol, and what they wanted to tell us in conclusion after that, which totally blew my mind. And you gotta see that. It's pretty good. If you don't feel like watching the whole video, just skip to the end and hit that conclusion, because it's just definitely something everybody should hear that they said. They also have a request or a question for you guys at the end of the video as well, to help me with my next video. So we're gonna go from there. Also, I want to thank my friend Jolene, who gave me this really cool pendant for a holiday gift, and you can't really see the details of it there, but it's 3D. And I got this, I saved it to show you. It's actually a necklace that depicts this tarot card, the moon. So it has the same thing, has the sun and the moon on it, and all the little things that are on this card. Isn't that cool? It's so cool. Well, thank you so much, Jolene. I'm really excited to wear it today. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to draw our message from my other friend, Vanda, who does a company called Share These Words. We're going to draw. She gave me all this artwork, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of messages. So I'm going to close my eyes. I'm going to pick one out. We're going to use it as our message of the day, something inspiring that we're supposed to look forward to. Okay. It says, I have to read it this way first. It says, it's okay to fall down and lose your spark. Just make sure that you get back up, you rise as the whole damn fire. Like it. So she did all the artwork on this. I'll just show you quickly. Integrated camera, video settings. Take it off mirror my video for a second so you guys can see it. There you go. It's okay to fall down and lose your spark. Just make sure that when you get back up, you rise as the whole damn fire. Like it. And yes, I put it on mirror. Isn't that cool? You can put your webcams on mirror setting or not mirror setting, because we like familiarity, and it kind of bugs us if we can see ourselves as other people see us and not as we usually look in the mirror. So when I do my videos, I didn't know it till tonight actually, that it's set to mirror me. So this is actually the opposite of how everything is laid out. instead of how you guys would be seeing me through the video, it's actually flipped around, but I like it better that way. Okay, let's get into the content. All right, got my notes over here. Let me get scrolling down to the first thing. So I asked them, first thing I want to hit is I do want to send out condolences to anybody that lost a loved one in 2020. And that means an animal, a pet, a horse, a cat, a dog, an iguana, or a human loved one. That can always be tough. That was kind of on my mind as I was starting the video. I was going to talk about, I know a lot of you are suffering great losses from the COVID pandemic. And then I thought to myself, you know what? Every year, we all have people that die every year in our families, but we don't put as much emphasis on it because obviously with the pandemic, it's a lot more traumatic because we can't be with our loved ones when they're passing over. And that is so difficult that they were in a hospital a lot of times if they weren't with us, in a hospital or a nursing home. And that's why it's so difficult. So I'm really sorry for any of you that are going through heartache because of that. And also just anybody that lost a loved one last year. So I wanted to send that shout out to you guys. Okay, so speaking of that, the first thing the elders wanted to bring up was a lot of people are choosing to leave the planet. And so you might see, weird stories like this. I'm going to tell you two of them in a second. But they said, they want you to know when it's your day, it's your day. When it's not, it's not. And did I mention, sorry, this video is a little grainy. I didn't mention that. Okay. This video is a little grainy because I'm filming at night and I have like lights on everywhere, all around me. And I just need to get like some professional, really big type lights with the deflection screens with them to get decent lighting for this webcam. I tried 2 different webcams. So sorry about that. It's a little grainy, but it just feels in my flow to get this done now at this time. So I went ahead anyway with doing it at night. I hope it doesn't drive you too crazy that it's a little grainy. If it does, just let me know and I won't do it anymore. But I'll try to improve my lighting. And sometimes you just got to go with what time of day you got the time, right? So they said, this is happening a lot. And this is really cool what they said about that. They said, people are being given the choice. We do have several exit points given to us that are pre-planned in our lives. So we can choose to take those exit points or we can keep on with the life. And this is all done through our higher self or our higher consciousness part of ourself. Our soul self takes care of that. Our lower self doesn't really have. You're not, if you're really, really awake, you might be aware of it. But most of the time, this is not something that, when I say we're given a choice and stuff, it's not like, you have a direct meeting and people say, I didn't choose to do this. I didn't choose to get cancer. I didn't choose to do all that. Just so there's a lot more happening to your consciousness than you know about. You have a whole other aspect of yourself that's not physically inhabiting the body, that is still around up there in the non-physical in heaven. And when you incarnate, you only send a portion of your energy down into this body. So the rest of you is your main boss of you. And so the elders are saying people's higher selves are being given the choice. They said they're telling them, this is the time of great awakening. You're going to have to start expanding yourself to stay on earth. Otherwise, you gotta go, because we're not going to keep this lower vibration energy available to you on the planet anymore. If you want to stay here for the long term, you're going to have to start kind of raising your consciousness along with it, because it's going to be too uncomfortable for you to stay on the earth, because the whole earth is a frequency, and that frequency comes from everybody's individual frequencies added to a collective frequency. And so when the frequency gets higher and higher and higher from everybody expanding and waking up, and also source is sending us higher vibrating vibrations to the earth, and that makes us sync with that, because we as living beings want to sync with the frequencies that are around us, so we're all vibrating at the same wavelength and speed, because it's more comfortable for us than if someone over here is really fast and somebody over here is not in that speed at all. It makes you feel uncomfortable together. So we naturally want to sync up. So the whole earth is getting to be a higher and higher vibration at a very alarmingly fast rate. So a lot of people are being given, well, all of us are being given the choice. Do you want to stay for this, or do you want to jump out and take your exit point this earlier than the whole awakening thing being done? And a lot of people are saying it's too difficult for me to change my ways. I'm too set in my ways. I'm not going to really go anywhere with this whole consciousness expansion thing. I'm not probably going to play that game. So they're like, okay, I'll take off right now. I will leave the planet, because what they're choosing to do is so cool. They're choosing to come back very quickly with a whole new life, a different body, because they said, I can break away better from my old vibrations and my old habits. I can come up here, get a break, chill out, regroup, come back down at a new set point that's higher, and I'll be open to new ideas. And they also said, their collective just spoke to me. They said, well, we also just want to be here longer. So a lot of us are, but young people are dying too. But this is kind of a lot of the people that are like maybe middle-aged and older that are more set in their ways. A lot of those people are taking off because they do want to come back, because then they're younger again and they can be here for an extended amount of time and really make an impact on the next 50 years on the planet, 50 to 75 years, they're saying. So, and a lot of you guys are raising those souls right now. If you notice, the youngsters coming in are very, very, very high level souls, and they're probably blowing your minds. Your grandkids and your children are blowing your minds. So that's what's happening. A lot of turnover is happening, a quick turnover. And they wanted to warn you, if you do feel like you know somebody, when they come back into the family, you're like, wait a minute. That could be because they are definitely incarnating back into the same families. I just had somebody tell me a story a couple days ago about, what was it now? Oh yeah. Okay. There was a little one that she's 2, and she had woken up from a nap or something. And the mother was sleeping, and the baby woke up, and she said she had been talking to grandma, blah, blah, blah. I forget the name. Grandma, blah, blah, or somebody like that. It was the name anyway. But anyway, she was talking to her grandmother who died before she was born, and she's never met her. So really cool stuff going on between family members connecting between non-physical and physical. I guess that wasn't a reincarnation story, so she wasn't reincarnated back from that. But I do know somebody that actually has the memories of being her own grandmother. So the child, my friend had a child, and this child would tell very elaborate stories of her life that she remembers, and it was her grandmother's life. So this is more common than you think, that people are coming back down in. So anyway, lots of cool stuff happening with that right now, and that's all because everyone's kind of gearing up for the next 50 to 75 years. It's going to be really, really, really huge. So very interesting. They also want me to share 2 stories with you. So first I want to back up and say one more thing. They want to say that your exit point and how you die is really irrelevant. It's just, well, they said, well, it's not irrelevant, but there's another layer, but let's talk about that in a second. So your exit point is it's just a way for you to get back to the non-physical. So that's already decided. So before the exit point happens, it's already decided that you're leaving. So how you leave is really uncontrollable and unstoppable. And you might have 5 attempts to leave, and maybe the first 2, 3, 4 didn't work, and the 5th one finally works. So they're going to keep giving you opportunities to leave until you finally leave. Okay, so 2 stories to share with you about that. The first one is that I just heard on the news. This woman was with her husband and her child on vacation, and they stopped at a scenic overlook, and she went across a barrier, which is big time no-no, and the rangers said that they've seen hundreds of people doing this. So many people do this on a regular basis to be able to get a better photo of, I think they were at a canyon or something behind them. So she did it just what everyone else is doing. She crossed the barrier to take a picture, and she slipped and she fell 200 feet and exited the planet. Okay, so, freak thing. I know, horrible, but freak accident. Then on the other side of the coin, I see this other video earlier this year of this trepidatious trail for SUVs only. You gotta have like a small Jeep by Telluride, Colorado, called Black Bear Pass, I believe it is. And this person has a GoPro on the front of their Jeep on the hood, and they're going on the trail. They're going along the trail like this, and then all of a sudden, so like they're going on the trail. The mountain is this slanted. Okay, it's that slanted. They're going on the trail. All of a sudden, bam, 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 rolls a Jeep down the mountain right in front of their Jeep that they're driving. And somebody was driving that Jeep is rolling down the mountain, careening down the mountain. The person that was rolling down the mountain in the Jeep lived. These people lived. If they would have been 1 second further down the mountain, they would have gotten crushed by the rolling Jeep. The person in the Jeep got ejected higher up the mountain, and she got airlifted out, and she lived. Okay? If it's your day, it's your day. If it's not, it's not. We really are not in control of that. So you have to give up that fear and think you have any control over it, because you just don't. That's what the elders want to really talk about, and they want to tie that in with the COVID pandemic, because they want to let you know that really it's predestined, they said, and that if you're going to go through COVID, that's just your way that you're going to go. And they also want to let you know that yes, you can't, it's irrelevant, you're just getting off the planet, it's just an exit point. But at the same time, the exit point that you choose can have infinite reasons why you choose that exit point. So yes, a lot of people do choose to die all at the same time, the same way, like a pandemic, or when we had the 35W bridge that collapsed here in Minneapolis and hundreds of people died in one place at one time, when we have mass shootings happen and concerts and things like that that have happened in the last couple of years, and a lot of people at one time in one place. Well, some of these people, these souls, choose to join these exit points in groups because it makes a bigger impact on society, and it can bring help. It can bring change for the better. You know, new rules, new ways to handle problems, and definitely transcending sickness. And the way we cure ourselves of sickness is a big issue on the planet right now, and we are transcending having sickness. So a lot of people are dying from this to help other scientists be motivated to try harder and work harder to really push through to the higher level of knowledge. So yes, you do have a very, very important reason a lot of times on, you know, your designed exit point, but that's kind of another level. It was already predetermined that you were going back home. And I don't know one soul whose story I have read about yet that has been unhappy about being home. So just so you know, everybody is great that I've ever spoken with, and all very, 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 very happy when they're there. So don't fear or worry. But if you want to talk to them directly, let me know, because we can talk to anybody anytime. So hey, that works. I mean, it's always great to want to check in. Everybody always wants to know how their loved ones are doing, and it's wonderful to do that. So I don't say that that's not necessary, but I'm just letting you know they're not sitting up there bawling and crying and saying, "Oh my God, this sucks up here." They're not doing that. Okay, so what else they wanted to say? They wanted to review what happened in 2020. They want to say that they want to recap. I had talked in March-ish, end of March. It was end of March, where they said, they gave me a vision of a head of an American company. It was like the big head, you know, the CEO of a company, saying that they were giving out free medicine for COVID, to treat COVID. And I didn't know at that time if it was a vaccine or if it was going to be a drug that treated the disease successfully, but it was being given out free. And I've never heard of a company making something for profit that was given out for free before, ever. And then my timeline, I felt, was around 6 months that was going to come out into the reality. And I felt like the person was talking, when they were talking, they were speaking from over on the east side of the U.S. somewhere, when they were talking like in a news story, press release kind of thing, talking to the public. And that is all happening right now. The vaccine came out 8 months, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, Yes, it's after September, so October, November. So, somewhere between the 6th and 8th month mark, but pretty good. And also, it was 2 American companies that the USA chose to hire, and they are both giving out vaccines for free. And there are vaccine companies in other countries, but the USA did not choose to go with them. And we're going with the 2 American companies. And as you all know, duh, everyone knows that. But just letting you know that what they said last March is exactly what happened. Well, they said, well, within 2 months or what. So that was my translation of that was my guess on the time. Oh, they said, yeah, time is elastic, so it can feel a little wonky sometimes. Yeah, we'll get into that later. Sometimes it can be compressed and sometimes it can take longer. You can feel like it's longer. So yeah, another video, different day. But anyway, the second thing that they want to talk about was they told me in August we were going to get a $2,000 stimulus check. And I had that in my fall newsletter, which if you want to sign up for, just go to my website, hollyburnpsychic.com, and you can sign up to be on the news list. Or message me here in the comments and I'll add you. Give me your email. So I sent out my fall newsletter, and I had a little graphic in it that said, I'm being told we're going to get $2,000 stimulus checks. And then, like, right at that same time came fighting because the new bill had come out in July-ish for the new stimulus bill that died. It's already dead now. But anyway, there was so much fighting going on, and it was just like, no. And I was like, well, I don't feel comfortable publicly saying that in a newsletter quite yet, being that specific. I think I'm just gonna back off on that sign a little bit. So I didn't put it in the newsletter, and then about a couple weeks ago, everything started turning more and more and more towards a $2,000 stimulus check. So I reposted my post from August. I did post it in August on my Facebook page because I wanted to note it so that if it did come true, you could know that they told me that when they told me. So yeah, I doubted it. I mean, I doubted it myself for several months. So I hope we get it. I hope we still get it. So they want to review that. They want to bring up that that's what they had said from 2020. And also they want to talk about dying from COVID, because I just asked them what do you want to talk about, and they said they want to review some things from 2020, and then they moved into about dying from COVID. They want to talk about that. They said this really specifically, word for word. They said, if you are meant to die from COVID, then you will. This is predestined. So if you are, you are. If you're not, you're not. And they said, but it doesn't mean that you shouldn't follow your impulses to keep yourself well, because they highly recommend that whenever you get impulses and do things and you want to take it makes you feel better to do your regimen that makes you feel like your immune system is boosted the highest for you, do it. But you can't control those details of your lives when you come and go in from what to a point that you think you can down here in this, our consciousness, our body. But at the same time, get in your flow, and it's always good to feel like you're in your best flow. I'm sure you guys understand what I'm talking about here. I'm not going to get too deep into my rabbit hole on that one. But this is what they wanted to say about it. They said, oh, this is so good. They said, fear is deadlier than any virus. So that's why they wanted to tell you some things to help you not fear as much. They said sickness and death are 2 of the lowest forms of thought that a human can entertain. So that just makes us all go wonky. And so that does everything wrong for your immune system and would definitely increase your odds of going down the trajectory of leaving. And I said, if you don't consent, it can't happen to you. If you don't consent to leaving the earth from dying from COVID-19, it can't happen to you. And no, it doesn't mean your lower self. It doesn't mean me, Holly, saying, yes, it's okay, I die from COVID. It's your higher consciousness self saying, yes, I will take this, I will accept this way of leaving the planet, and then out you go. So living in fear for 98% of your time about it, and then coming down with it and finding out that you did pretty well with it and you got through it. So many people did that last year. Lots and lots and lots of you did that last year, and good for you. It does help dispel the fear. So I think a lot of us are not fearing nearly as much as we feared when this first became a thing last winter, and we didn't know if it was going to plague everybody and everybody was going to have to go to the hospital or what it was going to be. So hopefully we're getting a little bit better about that now, and everyone's transiting higher. But if you do feel like you're way down in the depths, you know, call me for a reading. Ask your your guidance that you use in your life to show you the way back to your flow, because living in the fear all the time, they're saying, is the worst thing that we can do. They said even if you're not supposed to die from it, you could get a more severe case. So they just said you do have the control over a really bad case of it or a not so bad case of it. That is definitely in your immediate control with how you take care of your own immune system and how you are setting your body up to be able to handle getting it. You can do a lot of preventing that way by really ramping up your body's ability to not let that virus completely invade you. And I've done a lot of science research on that in the last year. That's covered in some previous videos. We won't go into that right now. This is supposed to be our future 2020 video. But that's really big. I feel like we're in a much better place. They said, well, back to the subject matter. They wanted to let us know you are in a much better place about it than you were, 8-9 months ago. And so it's really good for us. They want us to keep going in that direction. And they said natural remedies are really good. So, a lot of people have learned. And they just said, and look what's happened. How many of you know things that you did not know 8, 9, 10 months ago about how to keep yourselves well? Vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, elderberry, so many things that we know now to boost our immune systems that nobody was paying attention to before. So really, really, really good stuff is coming for most of us from the experience of going through this whole thing, as we're boosting ourselves for the long term, and we're going to stay better. And they said, like the fact that there's no flu cases like anywhere right now. Really good. Really, really good. See what we're transcending? We're getting somewhere. So that's definitely going to keep snowballing into 2020. They said, don't listen to that news. They want to start out with that, how many cases and where it's going on, and then the modified one's coming. And I mean, when I watch the national news every once in a while, and I just want to check in and see what's going on over there with that frequency. When I first started on, it gets on and they start with the headlines. I'm just like, oh yeah, this is where most people are living right now. I'm so not in that mode, because I don't go there because it's too fear-based. And I start to just get tense and nervous and scared. And I'm like, oh geez, I can feel it. Woo. So if you get like that, stop doing that. Okay, find other sources for your information. Google how to stay well, go to YouTube videos and learn new things, and do what's in your flow so that you feel better. And they've said this about staying well on this earth. They would like to talk about that. They said they want you to know the world itself is a rich, abundant environment that can provide everything you need for your wellness. So, and I've known this for a few years, not too long, but a few years, and I've understood that for each person on earth, there is something for them. So it might be different, it might not be the same 5 things for every person on the planet, is what I'm getting at. For everybody's immune system, everybody's body is different, but everybody has the things on the earth here, and it's mostly, well, they're saying not really. Okay, a big part of it is plants. Like, get this, I have a client that's been going through a lot of pain from a recent surgery, and she doesn't want to take any hard stuff for it, but she needed to a little while because the pain was so bad, that she had to take a few things for that to get through that worst part, and she wants to be able to move on now, and not need those, but the pain is still really, really bad. And bam, we were just led to the coolest thing. All of a sudden, I was led to this thing on my computer, this sticker. It's like a thistle, like a really sticky, a sticker plant that grows in our yards naturally. I have pulled it out of the garden many, many times. Actually, I don't know if it actually has thistles. It looks like a thistle plant. Um, and it is a natural painkiller known by the Native Americans to be as strong as opioids, but it's non-addictive and non-opioid. And it is a natural, like a natural opioid. Really freaking cool. And I'm like, okay, that's so cool. And people are selling extract of it, which is a very strong version of the plant. So, and I watched a brief video. So you take the plant, if you want to make it yourself. So you concentrate it down, you boil it on the stove, then you take out the liquid. So pretty soon you've got a really, really strong version of that, just as strong as opioids, they're saying. And the Native Americans have been doing that for several hundred years, they said. So that's so cool to me. I love it when stuff like that happens. So everybody just line up with and she was very lined up with her wellness. That's what happened to her, because she's determined. She's like, I want 100% wellness from the illnesses and things that she's going through in her life. And she's just bound and determined to get there. Another quick story. This is all the stuff that's tying in with 2020 to 2021 transition here, because the last 3 years before this, we were going through finding out what we needed to do, being frustrated that we didn't know what to do. And then 2020 was the year of action, where we actually started acting on things and getting somewhere. 2021 is really, really, really starting to see a lot of results from the past 3-year cycle. And I just talked with another friend a couple weeks ago, last weekend actually, at a corporate event that I was doing. And because they don't fear COVID, they're pretty cool people. So we had a cool corporate event, and I was talking to a gal there that had really, really bad back problems, and about, I don't know, a year ago or so, she was really, really down about it, and she decided, that's it. I'm done with this. I don't want to live like this anymore. I'm just over it. And bam, she switched her frequency more to wellness than living with the sickness, and she discovered rolfing, which is a combination between chiropractic and massage, from what I remember when I read about it in the newspaper, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever. So she said that the rolfer actually said the problem was actually in her hip, not her back, or maybe both her hips, I don't remember for sure, but not in the back. And so they worked it all out, and she is in marvelous shape right now, ready to go for 2021. She did it, she did the cycle, she got through it, went to the higher level, transcended, and is now living a higher frequency life, and she's so happy. So that's what many of us are coming to now. We've been through the thick of it, the deep, the big dip in 2018, 19, and 20. 18 and 19 were worse than 20. 20, we're starting to come out. 21, you're going to feel like, whoa, I'm over it. And they're like, but wait, the collective just said to me, but wait, we're all over here in this, where are you, Holly? Because we're over here in this war zone and this pandemic, and it's all heavy. Life is heavy and hard, and it sucks right now. Where are you? Well, I want to touch on that too. I can't remember if that's in my notes. I'm going to touch on it now. I had it, but I might have accidentally deleted it. So one of the very first things they wanted to say was, must be in here, but I'll touch on it now. They said, if you say it's a bad year, it's going to be a bad year. If you don't say it's a bad year and you're saying, you know what, we're rolling along pretty well here, then that's what you're going to get. So I started seeing about halfway through 2020 that everybody was jumping on the ship of 2020 sucks. And I'm just like, oh, not for me. I'm continuing to grow. I'm down through I'm past my dip. I'm rocking and rolling over here. I know where I'm going. I feel like I got momentum going towards that. I'm rocking. So I don't know what you guys were doing, but I've been rolling, enjoying it. We had beautiful weather in Minnesota. 2020 was one of the best summers that we've ever had, weather-wise. And winter, it's been pretty freaking cool too. It's been gorgeous and beautiful every day. So which frequency do you want to live on, people? because that's the one you're going to create more of. So this whole bandwagon of everything sucked this year, I'm just not buying it. If you want to look at everything that's bad in your life, fine. But it's really not. You had so many gifts happen to you. Many of you got to work from home, which has been such a blessing. We're saving on pollution, and you get to chill out more and have a little bit more time. So there's so many gifts that have happened to you last year that if you wrote down on a piece of paper, you might see that you have more positives and negatives if you look for them and you see them and honor them. And if you do that, that's the snowball you're sticking snow to. Which snowball do you want to add more snow to? The negative one or the one that gets you in your flow and makes your life kick butt? Okay? So remember, thoughts are things, and they bring more thoughts to them. Any thought you think for more than 16 seconds is bringing another thought just like it right to it. And then you get on kind of a funk, and you're there for a while. I call those thought chains. So, you got to watch out for those. What thought chains are you creating? Because your thought chains become your personality, they become how your day goes, and they become your reality. So really pay attention to that for 2021. We're going to really start going fast now. Momentum's going to really pick up, and you can be left behind in the dust and get chronically ill and die soon, or you can keep up the pace of the speed that merry-go-round's going and hop on and come for the ride. It's your choice. They said it's going to be really pivotal. 2021 is going to be very pivotal for a lot of people because we all are making these decisions now on a conscious basis, like a subconscious basis. We're making these personal decisions. And so, yeah, that's a big thing for 2021. So, let me scroll down because they made me jump out of order. They always do that to me. Okay. They said, this is really cool. Okay. COVID vaccine. I said, what do you want us to know about the COVID-19 vaccine? I don't know why I asked that, but it came around. They said, the way things are done right now can only survive if you give them the energy they need. We want to, and this is word for word information that I got that was spoken by Jesus to a lady named Tina Spalding that I follow on YouTube, and she's a channeler that does a lot of messages from Jesus and Ananda. So this one was from Jesus, the collective of Jesus, and they said, we want you to encourage, but the elders made it jump out from me. At the same time I'm reading it from Jesus, the elders were saying it to me. So they use other people's words many times, and they kind of unify with it. So it was both from Jesus to the world and also from the elders to you guys for my reading. So I said, we want you to encourage you to stop seeking salvation from your government and entities you have always known, such as the banking system and the petrochemical system. Start putting your energy into the world that you want to live in. So they're saying we need to transcend the pollution and the dependency on the petrochemical system because that's creating a lot of money. And we could be doing things a much cleaner, more natural, efficient way that would allow people a lot more freedom and be a lot better for the planet. The banking system, that's a whole thing if you don't know anything about that. But any of you gotten overdraft fees? Yeah. So much power and money going on in that world, and we're bringing that down too. Many people are transcending this. The old ways of doing things are going out on the planet. So there's a lot of things where there's a few people at the top with all the power and the money. That's going down. And I didn't mean happening. I mean going down, as in not happening anymore. And so they want to encourage us to stop seeking salvation from our government and entities we've always known. So what they want us to do is stop depending on somebody else to solve everything for us and take the bull by the horns and find your own wellness. Like, don't depend on a vaccine. That's great that we have vaccines. They're doing a lot of good for the world right now if they get rid of the corruption in them, which I'm not getting into that fight in this video. But there is many other ways to stay in complete wellness. So they're saying seek those out for yourself, seek what feels good for you. And so many of you have been doing that already, which is wonderful. So keep doing those things so that we don't always only just have to have to give all of our power to the high powers in order to feel like we're not living in fear or powerlessness, okay? That was a big part of that, what they want to say about vaccines. And they said everything on this planet started as an idea. So when you start entertaining new ideas about how you want to live, this is how everything has happened on the planet. This is how everything has come to be so far on the planet, is from our past beliefs and thoughts. So I kind of got the impression that we're going to transcend this way of dealing with sickness and come to something higher and better soon. So yeah, they said like not getting sick at all. That's the next level. The next level is figuring out how to not get sick at all. Then we won't need vaccines from the sickness because we won't. And they said vaccines are the first level of that. So that's good. So we're here. Vaccines are the next level of how to not get sick at all. But we're going to figure out something even better is above that one. So we don't even have to worry about sickness, because they said, because the level we're at right now just keeps another disease coming and another disease coming. So we get the vaccine to this one, then what happens is we get a new one that's going to come in a couple years, and then we got a new one. And so we never really get out of the rut. We're still doing the same thing, get it? Over and over and over, by allowing ourselves to have these things plague the planet every few years or so. So we're going to transcend that barrier and get up to higher things that are coming down the pipe. Like I do know quite a bit about some of the other higher societies in the universe that they don't have sickness. They don't do it. They don't have to do it anymore. They have the technology to be able to not have to have your body's immune system go haywire and have to live being sick. I don't know how they don't have it, but I know that they don't have it. So we'll get there very soon, and it's not coming in too long down the pipe that we're going to figure out a lot. And they said that we have been doing, they said actually that's a really good thing coming from the pandemic, is that we are getting to learn a lot more about, they said nothing's happened in this modern age that has challenged the medicine world as much as COVID. So that's, they said it's actually an accelerator. COVID came along as a way to push the technology that we have up to the higher level. And so it's all coming together. Like I said, this is the flow of it. I had somebody, they want me to do this pretty quick. I had somebody that was having a lot of issues with depression and anxiety because of how much her life changed due to the different societal changes from COVID in the last year. She said she's a very social person, and she got really depressed when she couldn't go out with her friends anymore and have as much personal interaction. And then she's also in fear of the danger of it. And so we sat down for a minute, and the elders spoke with her about all the good things that are happening, coming from that, from her into her individual flow from the changes that have happened. And they also shared with her all these good things about the planet that's happening, because I told her, you know, this is all coming so that we can not have it anymore, and we're rising through to the Great Awakening, and we can't bring this cycle of pandemics with us and have the utopia of the planet that we're going to have in just a few short years. We're going to get to a point of a really, really, really much happier, higher way of going about. We're not going to have wars anymore. We're not going to have racism anymore. We're not going to have religious issues where we fight amongst ourselves with our religions anymore. So that's all coming in the next 50 years. So we got to get there. So when they explained to her that that's what's happening right now, is we're actually opening up Pandora's box and really rising up to these higher frequencies and checking them out there and living higher than we've ever lived before. And that there's just a lot of growing pains that we're going through to get there. She just felt so much better. So they want to share that with you for 2021. Please bring those perspectives through. And if you need more perspectives like that, subscribe to this channel, because I'm going to keep bringing more of those as I get more time to do those down the pipe. I'm going to keep you updated on a lot of that stuff. And if you need something that you want me to do a video about, feel free to shoot me an idea and say, hey, I'm wondering about this. Can you ask the elders and do add that into your next video about what is going on with this? Why is this happening? If something is really bothering you, let's align it. I say let's hit that on the head and get that into alignment. So her perspective was over here, which was an out of alignment perspective of what's going on and causing her heartache. If you're getting heartache from your perspective, that is out of alignment. We need to get you over to how Source sees it and feel like that's aligned so that you can move forward without that fear. So next thing I want to talk about is war and pushing against. And I don't mean war as in overseas war. I meant the divisiveness in the country and us warring amongst ourselves. They said their feelings on war and what's going on between everybody, Democrats, Republicans, this, that, and the other thing group, right? We're all finding ways to spat with each other right now. You know, this person that just, you know, accosted that really nice UPS driver earlier in the year, or that FedEx driver that went viral. You know, everybody is mad against the man that was very rude to the driver, right? So we're creating all these little wars going on all the time. They said, war is pushing against. Don't ever go to war against anything. You will just make that thing bigger by doing that. Choose freedom. It says they really want you to focus on choosing personal freedom. So kind of free yourself of being tied up into all these little wars. If you catch yourself doing a lot of that, remember, wait a minute. That's just creating more of that. I'm just putting, which snow are you putting your snowball together with? This one, hate, 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 you know, negative, fear. This is a downer. We're really divided. Wow, I'm really worried about what's going on in the country right now. Which snowball you want to be adding snowballs to? That one or this one over here? Choose freedom. Okay? And you figure out your own personal freedoms. This is your own mindset. That's the freedom. I can't tell you what your freedom is. Everyone has to choose their own freedom. That's what they're saying. They're saying, choose your freedom this year. Focus on that because you don't understand. You're not awake enough yet. If you're in the war, you're not awake enough to understand what causes war, okay? And I'm not making a video on that right now, so I'm not going to get deep into that because we're doing 2021. So just, you know, plant the seed there and let that grow. So we have more to talk about that in a minute. So things in our future coming up. More quotes from Tina Spalding. Thank you, Tina, for sharing your wonderful messages with us. So in her video, Jesus said to her, an increased separation between those who are buying the snake oil and those who are not is coming. And that jumped out to me from the elders to say to you guys. So an increased separation between those who are buying the snake oil and those who are not. Okay? You guys know what that means. So that's why we're feeling more divisive, because more of a, so what happens is more and more people are starting to get awake and aware, and they're, I think, feeling more divisiveness between those that are not as willing to drop the warring, pretty much. A lot of that. Okay? So you're going to start to see some of that. So be open. Just be open. Accept those who aren't, because we're supposed to choose personal freedom. We're not supposed to be worried about what other people are doing as much right now. We're supposed to be worried about finding our own alignment within ourselves. Alignment comes from you, not what other people are doing. So don't worry about what other people are doing. Okay, that's going to, a lot of you are going to freak out when I say that. That's a whole year's worth of videos, okay? Go listen to Abraham Hicks about that and learn those concepts, okay? We're sticking to the plan over here. So that's really big. Then they said those on the higher frequencies, building the snowball over here of freedom, choice, love, and light, right? Will be getting information, encounters, guidance that those on the lower frequencies of fear and death are not going to receive. So they said those on the higher frequencies are going to get the information they need to help them live a beneficial life. Make sure you are on that frequency. Okay? Because you're not going to get solutions to your problems by sustaining the frequency of fear and death. So remember that. The ones on the higher frequencies are going to get that much more ahead of the game. They're going to be that much more further ahead because they're going to get that guidance download and that information download to keep them even more well and keep them even more moving toward what they want for their life. So really set your goal on that and be excited. Be excited to jump into that flow and jump into that wave and be over there. Make those decisions this year about what you want to do with your career, what you want to do with your physical shell, and things that you've been kind of hemming and hawing about getting done. Let's get them done this year. Get those 5 extra pounds off that you've been meaning to get off for the last couple of years. That's me. Except I added to 10 now. So I'm getting that 10 extra pounds off that I ate back because I love food so much. I'm going to work out more this year. Get back to where I was and another 5 pounds below that because it feels good this year. The energy is feeling good this year for that, right? Let's do it. Okay? We're gonna get there. That's much better than, I hope 2021 isn't as bad as 2020 was. All I think about is these riots and all the wars. Okay? Don't live there because you don't want to make that snowball bigger. And we want to care about it. We want to be empathetic about what's going on the planet. You know, you can look at it with different eyes. You can look at it with different feelings and emotions from it. Feel different feelings from it. Okay? We got to get there. Then what happens is it stops. We get less of that. That's how to make it go away. Okay. Next thing I want to say is make sure you are not obsessed with sickness and death. For those I think we covered this already. For those we covered this. Those are the 2est lowest forms of thought that a human can entertain. And they want to reemphasize that, so I left that in there twice. They said, entertain health and life and excitement for your future as your frequency. This is what's going to tune you up to the realms where our advice lives, where your guidance lies, where the guidance of the non-physical teachers that are helping your planet lies. I'm like, okay, let's delve into that. Non-physical teachers that are helping our planet. Did you catch that? I want to touch on that quickly because that's really important. More and more and more of you in 2021 are going to start getting these things happening to you because we are getting to higher frequencies than we ever been at before. So, non-physical teachers that are helping our planet. I see this all the time where people just talk about it and they don't really understand what's going on. Like I just saw Eddie Van Halen. He said, well, he understood it. He said, I am just a channel. I'm just a channel. It just comes through me and comes out. You know, his music that he wrote, all the songs for the Van Halen. And he said it just comes to me. And his solos that he plays and his licks for his guitars, he's just an open channel for source energy. He just allows the source energy to download into his mind and come out. Like I said a few months ago on a Facebook post, I said, we are just walking, talking satellite dishes. And that just freaked somebody out. And they just laughed their ass off at that comment. And we are just walking, talking satellite dishes. So tune your frequency, tune your dish to the one of the highest, coolest information out there. And that's what's going to flow into you. And that's Gwen Stefani. She just said it in an interview a couple days ago. She said, you know, I'm not really writing. I mean, I write all my music, but I'm not really writing because I feel like I'm getting messages from, you know, the higher realm. And they just come into my mind. And I just feel like I'm here to get the messages out. And I just write those things that come into me that I feel like I'm supposed to put into my music. So, and that's true. That's exactly what she's doing. And the lead singer of AC/DC, the second one, when he took over for the band, they were working on getting a new album out, and he said that he pretty much downloaded the lyrics for Back in Black. Just channeled them right onto the paper. He said it wasn't me writing that song. So this is the cool stuff that we can access here on the planet. at all times. And that's what they're saying is when you're on the higher frequencies, you're going to get more of that happening to you. So don't freak out. You start getting more open in 2021 and getting more of this stuff happening to you. That is completely natural and super, super good signs that you are starting to use more of your consciousness, not less of it. So do not fear it. And recognize that you guys all do this all day long. And that's being, just, that's being psychic. All this stuff that you're doing, that is using your psychic skills. It's using your telepathy skills. Everything in the universe is energy. Everything is vibrational energy. It comes into your mind, your pineal gland downloads it, and decodes it, and sends it out to the brain and the body in the form of a feeling, an impulse, a thought, or an emotion, or information that's coming to you. So this is what we're doing all day long. We're processors. We are just like computer chip processors. And when you look at the world of computers and the internet, it is pretty much based on how the whole universe is set up and how we are functioning as human beings every moment of our lives. Yeah, it's pretty cool stuff if you understand it all. And I thank my dad for a lot of that knowledge because I grew up as the daughter of an amateur radio operator, and he understood all this stuff and taught me a lot of this cool stuff about energy and like how we can hear someone's voice from halfway across the planet coming out of this little box on the shelf in his radio room. And I'm like, how can you do that? And then television, have you guys ever thought when televisions were invented, how are we getting this picture on this screen from this person way across the country? How does it, you stop and think about how that stuff works, it still boggles my mind. Not that I completely understand how, I understand how it works better in the physical body than I do how it works in the electronic world. I still don't get how a box can take somebody's voice and make it come out of a box. I still don't get that. I don't understand how telephones can make us talk. We can hear somebody live. I just don't get any of that. But I can understand very well how psychic abilities work and how telepathy works. That makes perfect sense to me. Okay. So if they want to say, if you believe your thoughts, they can become true for you. They do. They said, if you believe your thoughts, then they become true for you. So be very cognizant of that in 2021. And they said, in 2021, the old is going to start looking very decrepit and unstable. And this is also messages from Tina Spalding's video that jumped out for me, for you guys. The old is going to start to look very decrepit and very unstable. Governments, agencies are corrupted and untruthful, and they are going to start to crumble over the coming year through lack of support coming from the people. This is already happening right now. As you can see, it's already happening right now. We are making a lot of changes. And then I was going into, let me get to that in a minute. Next, she said, the Ascension program is pushing you towards love and away from restriction and fear. So if you're feeling restricted and fearful, it is not necessary. She said, it will be a happy new year if you decide it's going to be a happy new year. I don't know where I got this from. I think I got this from her video. But anyway, the elders made it jump out to me for you guys. They said, it'll be a happy new year if you decide it's going to be a happy new year. It is your choice whether you want to be happy or not. The world is neutral. So the world is not happy or unhappy. The world is a neutral place for us. We define it, and then we experience it that way. If you say it's bad, it becomes bad. If you say it's good, it becomes good. So the world is neutral. It's neither good nor bad. But if you say it's bad, it's bad. And if you say it's good, it becomes good. The world is shifting into alignment, not out of alignment. And they said people still need to learn a lot more about heart-mind homeostasis or alignment. We'll get into more of that. If you stay on my channel, you're going to learn all about that. That's really, really important to start learning. That's part of the awakening. When you understand what homeostasis is and how to get into that state and how to stay in that state, then you are awakened. It's a big part of it. And what it does is it kind of puts you into the perfect chi space as a human being down here on the planet. Makes your body work in perfect tandem with the non-physical part of yourself and source energy. And you start to just right through your life. just get to the sweet spot and go. And then you create the highest vibrating life you can have. And that, of course, the more people are doing that, the more the vibration of the whole planet rises, and the more everything else rises from that. We get better food, better transportation, less sickness, answers to problems we've been trying to solve for hundreds of years. It's all stepping stones, it's all connected. Be aware of withdrawing for too long, they said. So be aware of quarantining away from important people for too long. So they're not real big proponents on long-term isolation for a lot of humans that are having to deal with that. So it's time to start getting away from some of that. And because that's worse for the people than actually getting to have some human contact with somebody. I'm thinking of people in nursing homes, a lot of that stuff. Not good for a lot of people. So they said, be aware of quarantining for too long. Figure out, they said, well, that doesn't necessarily mean you have to risk everything and go in there if it doesn't feel aligned, but find a different way to deal with it. Find something else to be able to do, to be able to get around some of these things that are not working well. And then they said, let's discuss the Biden-Trump election. Well, I said, let's discuss the Biden-Trump election. I said, what do you want us to know about what's going on with that? They said, follow blind. I'm like, what? They said, they still think they can pull the wool over our eyes and we will just follow them blindly. They said a lot of us still are following our own political candidates blindly. They said they are still making behind-the-scenes agreements, the good old boys club. But in their speeches, they are saying all that they think Americans want to hear. So, talking the talk, but not completely walking the walk is still going on with both of them. One thing I saw was Biden's platform is all about the environment. And what did he go and do? He chose the former head of Monsanto, I don't know if he's former or current head of Monsanto, to be the head of the USDA. And it was greatly alarming to me because that's headed the wrong direction. My opinion, we should be heading more towards somebody that's really into higher vibrating ways of creating food than Roundup Ready seeds. And I do come from a very big part of the country that is huge farming community, and I understand and love them all and understand the industry very well, but that's not good for the planet. We have to transcend that practice. We have to get rid of a lot of things that are hurting our physical bodies and killing off bees and insects and little critters that we really need. So there's a big red flag to the ecosystem, and I know that everybody's on board with that, and we all want better. And I absolutely, totally appreciate the farmers of this world and how much food they give us. And they're not at the top. So the power mongers at the top are the ones that need to start doing some stuff that's going to be better for the whole trickle down. Like, I was kind of thinking that out when I was saying that and kind of going through my mind of all that and how it all kind of comes down. So, we got to get out of that. It just doesn't work right. And when something doesn't grow in the soil for, a whole year or two after you had certain crops where you could spray Roundup Ready, Roundup on them, because you have Roundup Ready crops, and you got to wait 2 years before you can plant grass for horses because hay won't grow and a pasture won't grow for them because you sprayed Roundup on the field the year before. That's a red flag to me. That's a big red flag. And bees are really important, and they're dying. And anyway, we're not going to get into that because you know what? We're flipping the coin. So all that stuff's what's going down. And we are really excited to get going on some really cool new things that are going to start coming. So I'm really excited for the future of farming and our agricultural community. And I wasn't thrilled to see that appointment happen. So I was asking them about that, and I'm going to get to one soul agreement that Biden had coming up in a minute that does open the door for some better things to come. So he had a soul agreement that is going to make a big shift. I'll get to that in a second. So they said it doesn't matter what political party the people are from, that is just an illusion of choice. And I've seen that. Like I said, I'm not one political party or the other. I'm not Democrat, I'm not Republican. I'm for the people. I mean, I look at each person, I look at their vibrational energy, each candidate, and what they stand for in general, and what I think they're going to be able to do for the planet. And then they just said, it doesn't matter what political party they're from. That's just an illusion of choice. But things are changing with some different things that just happened, in my opinion. Kamala Harris's energy coming into the vice presidential spot is big, really, really big. That is a new portal of energy that just opened up, that is now flowing through at one of the highest offices in our country. And so just the fact that she is, you know, a woman and is opening up doors to different thinkings of energy flows coming in, because right now it's been the same, a lot of the same, only in a different suit for the last 30 years or so, as far as who's come in. And I did love the energy. I still do love the energy of Barack Obama and his wife. I don't know all the little details. I've heard a lot of things from both sides about him behind the scenes as president. I don't know. I have no authority on that. I can just speak for energy wise. I feel like him being a black president, half black and half white, just as much white as black. So people kind of forget that sometimes, that we're all lots of everything. So, but you know, he's looked at as the first black president. So that's huge. We're opening up doors and we're coming through. But I really want to compare the energy of Kamala Harris to Mrs. Clinton, Hillary. You know, when she ran for president, you can just feel there's a lot of difference there, energy wise, in my opinion, frequency wise. And what that happens, what that is we think our thoughts and they come out, and other people pick up on them. You can't really hide your thoughts. So you can put a new face on, just like they said, walking the walk, talking the talk. You can do that, but you can't hide what your real thoughts are. They come off you, and they go from a long ways out from your body, but they can be read by anybody anywhere in the universe at any time. So when you look at where we were 4 years ago with Hillary Clinton as a candidate, and you look at Kamala Harris's energy moving forward, I think you'll find that there's quite a bit of difference there frequency-wise, and I do prefer, personally, the frequency of Kamala Harris's energy field to Hillary's. I feel like Hillary was not, I think Hillary's more walking the walk and talking the talk. So I feel like Biden, I did download from the elders that Biden did have a soul plan to bring her in and open a door and say, okay, enough is enough of this continual line of rich white guys getting to be president. You know, and I know Jimmy Carter wasn't rich, so hey, you know, we have a few here and there that get in. But overall, you know, the more money you have, the easier it is to be president, because you can campaign better and you can hobnob with other people and friends and, you know, get the network going and getting more campaign contributions. So it kind of snowballs once again. You're building a lot of snow to that snowball. So it's not happening. These are reasons why things happen. So it's not just, you know, emotional and all that. It's just factual based. Sometimes that's just what happens, the way society has been up till now on the planet. But all this stuff is shifting and changing. We're getting away from monetary based things being the way things have to be all the time, the ones that win out. They're saying the thing that wins out is not going to necessarily be based so much on the financial backing of it anymore, because people are not basing their decisions on that anymore, and they're pressuring society to say, look at everybody else around here. Can we have some other people in government? Can we have some other ideas? And they're forcing their way in and pushing that old ways out, which is great. So you're going to find that all the way down all the way down to the city level. You're going to start to see much more diversity in the government, which is going to be, and that wouldn't matter, except for the ones that are not diverse aren't giving as much heed to everybody. So it doesn't matter what you are. It doesn't matter if you're black, white, red, or brown. It doesn't matter. What matters is that everybody gives everybody enough of their thought attention, and they look at the whole big picture of what all the needs are of everybody in the country. And that's what we're getting more to in 2021 is really, really, really good. So yep, doors are opening. And they said, this is really interesting. They said, well, what is politics? How do these two people feel about each other of different parties? What is government supposed to be? A unified body of people representing us. And he said, but what we're getting now is divisiveness. We get Republican against Democrat. We get, I like her, I don't like him. We're getting all of that, right? So we've kind of shied a long ways away from the very beginning, where we started with representing our constituents and the good of all. It's not there anymore. So as you can tell, things have really, really turned into divisiveness, very much. Any kind of legislation. Okay, what are all the Republicans going to say in those, and what are all the Democrats going to say? How are they all going to vote? Because, duh, we all live here, we know what goes on. So they're saying this is divisiveness. They said two people can't stand each other. They really can't stand each other. And they said, then the people watching them, this is the important part, us watching them be that way gives us the same feelings. What is that doing? You should know by now. Go back and review the first part of this video if you don't, because we already went through it a half hour ago. Really, really important. So how many millions of people all have these same feelings based on what the two guys at the top are doing to each other, or the two people in Congress are doing with each other, or the candidates in the city politics are doing with each other? So remember, we're all one. So this divisiveness happening, everybody thinking those same thoughts. Well, I really like how he did. Well, I hated how he did. Really, well, I don't like you then. Fine, I don't like you then. It's just like, oh, okay. So they said, be careful. Catch yourself. And they said steps are being made in the right direction in 2021, but you really got to catch yourself and not get sucked into that feeling because your candidate is not being amiable towards the other one, and that makes you feel uneasy and unhappy, and then you go through it. Okay? Remember that. It's not good to go to that frequency, so find a different way to think about it. You can still watch it if you want to, be informed, but don't think those frequencies. Catch yourself. What frequency are those thoughts on? What are they doing to the planet? They're bringing it down, and they're low frequencies. If you're below a 5 on the emotional scale, you're not helping the planet out. 1 to 5 is all the negative emotions up to a gradient scale. 6 to 10 is the positive emotions, the gradient scale, 10 being the highest. So, 5's neutral. So if you're from 1 to 4, you're bringing the vibration down. If you're 6 to 10, you're bringing the vibration up. Make sure you're doing that all day long. Okay? Don't go down there. You can still watch everything. Be as involved as you want to. But if everybody stayed up there, we wouldn't be doing what we're doing. If everybody on the planet stayed up there, think how different everything would be. You can't act the way those people in the Capitol did if you're feeling, well, it depends on if that makes you feel 6 to 10. But you get that way in the first place from a lot of years of thinking on 1 to 4. Okay? A lot of years of thinking on 1 to 4 make you act that way. Okay? You won't even want to go storm the Capitol. If you spend all your life on 6 to 10 up till then, you're not even going to think about that. It's not even going to come to your mind. You're going to be like, how would I do that? I don't, that's not even my thing. I'm going to go help a homeless person today. I'm not going to go do that. Okay? All right. They said, this is really important. This is the most important time in history right now. The most important time. Think about your history and how much you know about it. This is the most important time. Many who have come here now are here for this and this only, the great awakening of man. So a lot of people on the planet have come here just for that. Many people that don't usually come to Earth are here on Earth right now to be a part of the great awakening of man. So, and that might blow some of your minds. Well, that means is that we're all souls. I always kind of think of a spirit as a soul when I don't have my body. I'm in a spirit. I can make myself look however I want to look, but it's holographic because I'm really a spirit of energy. I'm a soul, not in a body. So I can choose to go to Earth when I want to incarnate, or I can choose to go to another planet when I incarnate. There are many, many, many choices for us to incarnate to. But we're all souls to go back to the same place when we're not in bodies. Okay? So many souls are coming to Earth now that don't usually come to Earth because they want to help with the Great Awakening. And they have soul memories from other planets where they know they can help down on Earth because they, like, we don't have sickness here. I'm going to come to Earth because I'm going to help push for no sickness on Earth. Okay? That's what's happening. A lot of people that have soul memories from incarnating in other worlds where they're more technologically advanced. Now, we are some of the most advanced beings in the universe because we have such an emotional spectrum and scale to be able to feel when we're on Earth. And Earth is a very, very, very difficult place to be, to incarnate on. So we are viewed as the strongest souls in the universe, even though we're not the most technologically advanced society. We still have the greatest respect from the other races because they're like, dude, I couldn't do what you guys are doing down there. That was way too hard to have all that going on at the planet at the same time. Like, whoa, how do you do all that volatility? So we get a lot of kudos for that, but they're helping us to get over some of these volatile issues and smooth some stuff out so we can get done with this stuff. We got to get on to some other stuff. You know, we've been doing this since man was born, warring each other and killing each other, fighting with each other, and it's kind of done now. We need to be over that, and we are getting over that big time. But people have to be awake. If you're not awake, you don't stop it. If you're not awake, you're going to think, well, we still have to have this. And you talk about other countries like they're just completely foreign to us. And, you know, they're over there and they're our enemy. No, they're not. They're Earthlings. We have to unify as one planet of Earthlings before we can join the galactic society. We're still sitting here fighting between countries. We are not going to be able to be awake enough to be considered, you know, awake and aware enough and ready to be able to handle the galactic society that's out there for us. So it's time for us to step up a notch on this planet. So that's what they want. The most important thing they want us to know about history. I said, what do you want us to know about the Trump-Biden, about the riots that happened at the Capitol? Some of you are going to like this answer, and some of you are going to hate this answer. Okay, so they said they are rather unconcerned about the whole affair. They said, we are at the end of a cycle. They said, it has a nice unified feel about it. That's what they said about the riots in the Capitol. It has a nice unified feel about it. We're at the end of a cycle. And then I wrote, OMG, a bunch of exclamation points. I understood it completely what they're saying, but I know a lot of you are not going to know how to take that. So I'm going to translate that now into elder speak so we can understand exactly what they're saying. Okay, what they mean is we have learned all we need to learn at this stage, and we are ready to move on to something new. The something new is not politics like it is now. It's another birth, not a death at all. We are on an infinite journey, and this is just a very brief experience. There is nothing to fear. What they mean is your whole incarnation is just a very brief experience for you as a soul, not that the riot's for a brief experience, and that you have nothing to fear. So what they're saying is, like I said before, turbulence from growing pains. We are ascending. I talked about that the whole video. Go back and review what we're doing here. Watch my other videos if you're confused on it, and I'm going to make more. So we're going through, we're done at this level. So things are just coming to a head. And you have some people that don't want to move. And they got their feet in the sand, and they're like that toddler when you say, come with me, and you hold them by the hand, and they go, no. And they stick their feet down in the sand, and they won't move. And you try to pull them, and then you have to drag your kid if you want your kid to go with you, right? That's what those people at the Capitol were doing. They're the people that are like, this is where we're at. And we're going to make society stay here. We're going to fight and throw a big fit, a big tantrum until we get our way. Well, that's just a sign that things that have been held down underneath for a long time in society are all just going poof right now. And that's good, because what happens when you blow up, what happens? You get to a point of resolve from that easier sometimes than holding it down. So they said just now, we are like ridding ourselves of the resistance. We're not living in the resistance. So these people have been living in resistance for a long time. All the people trying to interact right now, they're all involved in that very directly. So instead of, they could have taken care of this amiably and little steps along the way for many of the past years, but instead, it builds up to a powder keg and goes poof. But at least it's doing something, because that does show movement. When the powder keg goes off, what happens is we do move to a higher level as a result. So, we're doing it, like I said, we're the airplane, going from the lower elevation to a higher elevation, and we're doing it turbulently. But at least we're getting there. So from this is going to come. So they're like, people are going to say, no, I'm confused. It's really, everything's falling apart. And no, it's realigning to something better. We're going through a rebirth, not a death. So look for those signs. Look at it through those lenses, and you will start to see. Okay? Otherwise, this video would be 8 hours long. So can't get into any deeper than that into this video. Okay, they want to say, they were showing me the world free of a certain frequency that has been lived on by man since the dawn of man, and that they gave me a vision of it gone. So let me explain these. So this is what's happening as a result of the Capitol riots, and this is a sign that this is what we're doing on the planet. Since the beginning of man has warred with each other, with itself. We're transcending that now. And so the energy of the planet used to be like, like if you're up in heaven and you're looking down, you're going to go to Earth, and you're getting ready to go to Earth, what are you going to see? You're going to see a crap load of violence. And you're going to go, whoof, I don't know if I can handle that. That's a really violent place down there. I got to brace myself if I'm going to go live there. That is going away. Instead, it's going to be, wow, that's a very serene, really great frequency over there on that Earth. I really want to go there. That just feels great. That's where we're going to from this one. To get from this one to this one, everybody on the planet's not just going to go, yeah, let's get there. Okay, I'm going to be nice to everybody else from now on. I'm going to stay in alignment. I'm going to get in alignment. I'm going to stay in alignment. I'm going to keep my emotions on 6 to 10. It's going to rock. Let's go. That's not going to happen. We got to get there some way. So, has to do soul turnover. People are going to have to die that won't go. And new people come in. Like I said, they come back in as new people. Or some powder keg's got to blow. These are both ways that we can get there. So, this is all steps up that's happening right now. So, keep your eyes open for all of that that's going on. Because the frequency is really shifting from that old one. We're getting to that new, really serene, beautiful one where it was just, the violence was just gone. It was like we were just done with that. Can you imagine in the world where we're not warring with each other anymore all over the planet? That's the vision they gave me. And can you imagine how different the energy would be on the entire planet if that's how it was like? So you have to start going there in your minds, people. We're not going to create it if you don't go there in your mind. You have to think of that and live that individually in your day. All you have to do to get us there, if everybody on the planet went there in their mind to a place of serenity and peaceful and calmness, and they stayed there all the time, that's how the whole planet would be. It would be impossible to create a planet of warring and turbulence because nobody would be thinking that. That frequency would not be created from. So that's a big jump. So start going over there. Start trying out something different. Feeling for that. And you can start by doing that individually within your own life. And then you'll just start to, bigger dimensions out from you. Okay. Next thing. Okay, this is a big concept. If you hate, and you hate the people that hate. So if you hate the people that hate, right? So if we hate those people in the riots, what is a war if not absence of love? The word hate is being used all the time today. If you hate something, you believe it's bad. Then you become it. You become what you hate. So if you hate those haters at the Capitol, you become one with them. You're over on that snowball. You just took yourself, here's the big main snowball, and you're a snowball. You can go join whichever big one you want to join. You can join this one over here, which is love and source energy, pureness, serenity. You can join this one that's very volatile, lots of hate going on over here. These are where all the haters are. The haters are over here, the lovers are over here. If you hate the haters, you go stick to this one, and you make that one bigger. So everybody in the country that's hating haters right now is creating more of this situation, more riots in the future, more crap like this to have to go through again. So you're like, I'm so concerned. I'm so empathetic. I don't want this to happen anymore. Okay, fine. You got to fix it through awareness. You don't fix it by hating them. That doesn't fix it. That just keeps it going again and again and again and again and again. Does that make sense? I hope I'm explaining that well enough. Let me go on to explain it. Because you are expressing in your hatred of hate the energetic frequency of hate. Get it? Everyone's going, aha. I didn't realize that, right? Thus, you're connecting with it. What you hate, you become. What you fight, you become. Because you make this vibrational connection. Because what frequency are you on? Are you on 6 to 10 if you're hating haters? No, you're on 1 to 4. And that stuff I just quoted was from David Icke, from a show on Gaia called Escape the Matrix that I just listened to. He's wonderful. But as he was saying it, the elders were making it jump out for me, for you guys. But he's the one that explained it that way, and I love how he explained it that way. So if you need to hear it again, push pause and play it over again. So he says, so what do we have now? We have anti-hate organizations, anti-hate protests. You don't like hate? Well, then show them some love. Got it? If you don't like hate, show them some love then, he said. He said, so then when that happened to me, when he said that, what happened to me was I got this vision in my mind. Instead of protesters protesting, they go out and they show love. So you get 50,000 people together and they walk through a city and they show everybody they see love. They do a loving act to somebody else, and that they just walk through a big mob. Can you imagine the difference between that and what happened in Uptown? Can't even go there. Yeah. I just got overwhelmed with the feeling of love. That would be so wonderful if everybody in Minneapolis, instead of burning down the town, instead helped those business people by saying, what can we do for you? What can we do to help fix up the front of your store? Instead of burning it down. That would have been cool. We're not there yet, but we need to understand how to get there. Okay? So that would be the most powerful protest of all. If everybody went out and just showed love and compassion to each other. That's what the elders said. That would be big. That would be big. Okay, next. They said, love is the absence of fear. So, if you're fearing, those people that stormed the Capitol, they stormed it because they fear something. They fear something big, and they will not transcend their fear. So instead of transcending their fear, they lash out. Okay, get it? Here's you. Here's fear. And here's the higher frequency. And Source is calling you past that up to here. Don't fear that. Embrace it. Come with me. Transcend. This is a great awakening. Come up here. You don't have to fear that. No. No way. That's way too scary. Between here and here is a lot of fear. The people, no, 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 no. Every time they say no, they get further away and 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 further away. And people this far away are the kind of people that act out in the way that they did at the Capitol and the way that they did when they burned down Minneapolis, my town. Okay? So, we, as the people that don't want that to happen, guess what we have to do? We have to show these people more love. If we show these people more love, they won't get this far away. It brings them one step back up. If these people would have had more love, maybe as children, when they were in childhood, whatever, they wouldn't get so far out. So that's a lot of what's happening on the planet right now. Mass shooters, I haven't seen a one that didn't have a history of major pain from something. Most of the time, it's abuse, perpetual abuse from an adult in their life when they're children. That's a big, 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 big part of it. Having to endure what happens. They had to endure pain, lots of pain. And then pretty soon it just gets so big that they can't even find love again. They can't find their way back to love. They're so far in pain. And anyway, they shut themselves off from love because they think that they can't handle the heartache. And that's the wrong answer. They actually should open up to more love and source energy flowing through them, then they wouldn't feel the pain of the abuse. But that's going to come after we awaken. After 2021, we'll understand as a society more how to handle each other better and how to deal with this so people don't get so far away from alignment. So there's this source energy calling them. They won't get so far away. They'll be like, yeah, I'll go. I'll dare to go. So they just said for 2021 people, dare to go. Dare to go past your fear. Because on the other side, it's going to be a much higher frequency life for you. And it's going to rock a lot better if you get up there. Another thing that the elders warned about is not letting children play, and they said, and adults too, stop playing violent. They just said, stop playing violent video games. Your brain does not know it's not real. Your brain does not know the difference between a real experience and watching a football game on TV. Your brain, when you get excited when the touchdown happens, your brain doesn't know you're not actually the one making the touchdown. Your brain just knows you're experiencing touchdown! Yay! That's why we like to watch sports on TV so much. That's why we love high action sports, because we can experience a lot of it without having to actually do it ourselves, because we can't athletically do that. So we love to be able to watch other people, because it's definitely an endorphin experience, a brain experience, because your brain's like, oh yeah, I'm skiing down a mountain right now. Yeah, that's why we love the Olympics. So same thing happens when you're playing a violent video game. Bad, 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 bad for the planet. The graphics, I just glanced at what happens is these video game previews are popping up on some of my YouTube videos that I watch. It'll pop in an ad of it. There was this one lately. It was for Mafia something or other, and you know, it's all about guns. The guy's got a gun and he's shooting the gun, and then he's going paying cash for a bigger gun, and it's a big automatic gun, and he goes walking out with the gun, and then he's pointing at the people in the little thing. You know, I wonder if he should shoot at them or not. And I mean, we don't have to go into that, but if you guys are letting your children play video games where they're shooting and killing each other, and they show actual, you shoot somebody, no, that's got to end. That's got to end on this planet. When they do that over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, and then nothing happens, that makes them very much hardened to the fact that we are all one, and teaches the brain a lot of bad concepts with how what we do affects everybody on the planet. So when they kill someone else on the video game, if the video game would show them that they lose energy, that'd be the good kind of video game to have violence. So when you shoot someone else, you lose your own power. So if you keep shooting people, you have no power to do anything in the video game, and you can't play the video game anymore, that'd be a good one. Because that's what's happening in real life. When you're shooting each other and warring with each other in real life, you're actually depleting the power of the entire planet, including yourself. And you're hurting yourself greatly. After we die, we are shown every moment of our life. We relive it again. Every moment. Everything we did to somebody else is shown back to us, and we feel it from how they felt it. Everything. So you don't get away with that stuff. If you hurt someone else on the planet, intentionally or not intentionally, doesn't matter. You're going to feel all they felt. You're going to feel that hurt that they felt. So, because we're teaching us not to do that stuff when we get back here on the planet, because we forget. We're all connected, but we are all connected energetically. Like I said, if somebody else feels lower and you're over here, your body wants to sink lower with them. Everybody wants to sink to the same thing. And also, if a lot of people are vibrating pain and agony on the planet, it brings the overall vibration of the planet to a lower frequency and holds everything down. So it's very, very important. So yeah, wouldn't that be a great video game if someone had that one? Yeah, that'd be great. You start out with 500 units of energy, and every time you shoot your gun, you lose a unit of energy. Every time you show love to somebody, you gain a unit of energy. If you can solve a problem in that video game without having to shoot your way to get it, you gain energy. That's the kind of video games you should have if you like to have shooting games. Okay? All right. Which is dumb. Never let my kid play those. We can race cars all day long, but we don't shoot people in my house. No, we don't shoot people. Okay. Next thing. Okay. They want to bring up one more thing they said in 2020. They said that the Good Old Boys Club was falling away. And somebody had asked about what we're going to see shifting in governments and things, and the elder said, you're going to see that Good Old Boys Club start to fall away. They want to point out some really cool things that are happening about that. They're saying Prince Harry and Meghan are a good example of the Good Old Boys Club cycle being stopped. They don't play that game anymore, homie. They don't play. So it was good. Really good. And also they noted Kamala Harris becoming vice president is definitely a shift away from the Good Old Boys Club, because she ain't gonna play that game either if she becomes president. If she does, she's not gonna play that game. So that would be a humongous shift in energy that would change. a lot of people are still saying, just as soon as January 10th, I watched a video on YouTube from a very famous person that does videos all the time about intel on the planet, about what's going on the planet. And he was talking all about Trump picking next vice president for his next term, and Biden being arrested. And I know nothing about either one of those things. When I read the energy of what I feel is going to happen, I have felt for quite a while now the energy, to me, dissipated in the energetic trajectory line of the possibility of Trump coming back and having a second term right now consecutively. That to me died off. When did it die off? I'm trying to think of what happened that made it die off. After the well, that was our reflection. Anyway, I don't remember, but it was a few weeks ago when I just kind of went, yeah, the energy that's just kind of, meh. You know why? Not because of him or Biden, because of the energy of the people of America. I feel like everybody just moved forward and Trump stayed behind. Everybody took a step up and went, okay, we're going on with this. And Trump's like, no. What did he do? He put his foot in the sand and said, I'm not moving. I'm not going. That's it. And everyone else went, okay, then we'll spit you out. So this is all happening on the big scale. If you look at the big scale of what's happening here, not the little details of what he said, she said, he didn't kick him out. He really did that. I'm not talking about that level. I'm talking about outer level from that. The whole country just went, we're done. We're out here. Fresh energy. So to me, I would definitely vote for that. Nothing's going to happen after this election, shortly after. Nothing's going to change or shift. I don't feel. That's my prediction. That's what I would go based on reading the energy of the future. Like I said, I still have experts saying up till, just a few days ago. So I'll be really shocked. I'd be really, really shocked if anything brings him back and reverses the election in any way. I asked them what they want to say in conclusion. This is amazing to me. It's so easy to get sucked down on earth here and think of, those people that are Republicans, those people that are Democrats, those people that are poor, those people that are rich, those people that have much different cultures and traditions than our family does, those people that celebrate Christmas, those people that don't, those people that go to church, those people that don't, those people that take good care of their kids, those people that don't. There is so many different ways for us to see the differences in ourselves, right? I mean, everywhere you look, there's just differences between us. And this is what they said. I said, what do you want to say in conclusion? They said, because before a lot of these, I'm pulling cards and I'm translating and putting it into the reading. So today, I'm showing you these two because I had to show you this. Let's see which way does it go in mirror effect. This to this. Okay. I said, what do you guys want to say in conclusion? They said, this. So you guys would read it. I can't tell on mirror. It goes from this to this. So we'll go from this to this for a second. They said, this card and this card. I looked at them for a while. I'm like, what are you saying? Then I downloaded the information into my pineal gland. Divisiveness. About this divisiveness in the country right now. You have no idea who you're fighting with. This is friends. These are all really good friends. These guys, they know each other. They're like best friends. In between their lives, they're best friends when they're not in a life. They're best friends. And they're warring with each other right now on the planet. They're fighting. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. They want us to realize how unawake we really are. So I need to explain this. They said it's like we're just wearing illusionary masks down here on the planet. We're playing parts in a play. But really, we all love each other greatly. So when we're souls and we're not in lives, We all love everybody. We can't, it's impossible to feel an emotion below a 5 when you're not in a body, because you vibrate so high and so fast, because you're up in the realms and frequencies of source, where they don't have pain, they don't have agony, they don't have these emotions that you have on earth, okay? They don't exist. They're not even available to feel when you're up there, because the frequency of that realm is way, 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 way higher than any of those emotions. So when you come down, so when we're up there, we love everybody the same. Everyone's really, you know, we do have our besties, but we don't hate anybody. We don't dislike anybody. So let's say we do have small soul pods of like, 5 to 15 people, are a really close pot of souls, and we incarnate with them over and over again. Then it moves out to 50 to 100 people that are souls we have interactions with, like not as close with each other, and then out to like 500 souls. So they're showing us a close soul group here. Like, it's a close soul group. They're like, really good friends are down here sparring with each other right now, but they're really good soul friends. So imagine when you're not in your life and you have transcended. Now, you can still have a slice of your energy be this personality to all your loved ones that are back on earth. So when I'm talking to my family members that have died, I'm talking to the all-knowing. They're in an all-knowing state, but they don't have to necessarily, they don't go around in heaven looking like that. When you're in your complete soul state, you encompass all the lives you've ever had, but you can still divide your energy and take that one little piece of you that was like, if I'm dead, I can still take that little piece of me that was Holly, and I can still interact with my loved ones on earth as Holly, but I would still have another 999 lives that I've had besides this one. And I remember all of those too. I remember being all those people too, because my true soul self is not any one of those individually. My true soul, let's just say my true soul name is Lydia. So my soul name is Lydia, and Lydia has been, 900 people on earth. She's gone through 900 lives, or she's been, in the last one, she's right now, she's Holly. So part of me is Holly, and part of me is Lydia, who remembers all her other lives. And Lydia has a best friend up there. My best soul friend's name is Samantha. So I'm best friends with Samantha, and I'm best friends with Kari and Nathan and Jason, and we're all up there being souls, and we're being really good friends. I'm like, okay, let's go down to earth and incarnate. Then we take on new names, and we jump into these physical suits, and then we don't remember each other. So we don't remember that up there we love everybody the same, because we're all the same. We're all these souls that have been created by God. When we jump down into a life on earth, we kind of get mixed up and jumbled down into that sometimes, and we're not fully awake to that. And then we see the difference in our physical features and our physical suits and our cultures, and then we just get all freaked out by the differences, and then we fight. So that's what they say we're doing right now. We're just blindly down here, just jump, 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 all over the place. And really, if we stopped and had a full memory of who we really are, we'd go, oh, wait a minute. I love you all. I love you all. I forgot. Oops, I forgot. And then we'd be like, dude, I love you. Rock on. We're all a part of the same source over soul that we don't remember. That's the Great Awakening, people. This is what the Great Awakening is. It's remembering this part of us and bringing it to our consciousness here on the planet to create a much higher vibrating society when we're done going through that. So when we get this divisiveness happening in the news, and you see the he said, she said stuff, and you're worried about what's going on in this country right now, in 2021, I want you to focus on remembering you really love everybody here with your heart, with your true heart and soul. You love them all, every single person on the planet. And if you can walk around like that all day and treat everybody like that, you're going to see your life change in miraculous ways. You're going to, like I said, if we had a big bunch of protesters all go out and do good for everybody, ha! Let's do it. I mean, that would be pretty cool. Maybe I'll run one of those. I don't want to turn on them. Maybe we'll run one of those. That would be awesome. Get one of those going. Okay, that's what they wanted to conclude with today. So hopefully that will really help you moving forward and really help your frequency shift and change to feel like you're ready to take on 2021 and you're rested and you're going to take all this burden from 2020 that you chose to feel and you're going to leave it there on the sand and you're going to continue walking down the beach feeling much lighter than you did before you saw this video. I have a request for everybody. The next video I'd like to do is your questions about 2021 and what you'd like to ask the elders about the coming year that you're wondering about the planet. So let's get your insights on what you guys are thinking. Please send me that in the comments below or in a private message, and I'm going to be working on that video next. So I look forward to seeing you with that one, and happy 2021.